All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're talking about the practice of presence. And look, I want to be crystal clear right out of the gate. We are not talking about a list of quick fixes or superficial behavioral life hacks. No way. We're getting into the deep, neurological reality of nonverbal communication and leadership. We're going to uncover how we physically and emotionally project who we are and exactly how that's received by the people we lead. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at the science of human connection. Psychology professor Paula Niedenthal says that we are programmed to observe each other's states so we can more appropriately interact. Basically, humans are neurologically wired to rapidly download vast amounts of information just by looking at someone. Think about it. Before you even open your mouth in a meeting, your team has already processed a massive data file on your emotional state, purely based on your nonverbal cues. This whole neurological download happens through this incredible thing called resonance. It's an automatic subconscious process where parts of our brain literally echo what other people do and feel. It's absolutely fascinating. For instance, research shows that when you see someone trip and fall, your brain activates its own pain matrix. You literally feel a twinge of their pain. And according to research by Ulf Dimberg, when we see someone smiling, it automatically activates our own smile muscles. We're literally biologically built to mirror the feelings of others. But, resonance has a bit of a darker side too. Because we echo the internal states of others, concealing our emotions is actually contagious. Research out of Stanford University by James Gross found that when a leader is angry but keeps it all bottled up, trying to maintain that perfectly neutral poker face, people subconsciously detect it anyway. And here's the wild part. Just being around that concealed anger actively raises the observer's blood pressure. You might think you're hiding your stress or frustration, but your team's nervous systems are physically reacting to it. Because our brains are so incredibly good at detecting inauthenticity, leaders have to be super careful about how they manage their presence. Now, the ineffective way to do this is what we call the outside-in approach. This is when you try to consciously micromanage your nonverbal signals in the moment, like forcing a smile or overthinking your hand gestures. It almost always makes you look wooden, robotic, or just fake. The effective method? That's inside out. This is where a leader genuinely connects with the emotion they want to project, almost like a method actor. You summon the genuine feeling of confidence or warmth internally, and your body just naturally follows suit. Decades of psychology research map out two primary dimensions of social judgment and leadership: warmth and strength, or competence. When we meet someone, we subconsciously ask two things. First, what are this person's intentions toward me? That's warmth. Second, are they capable of acting on those intentions? That's strength. Balancing both is the absolute key to active engagement and admiration. And here is the crucial takeaway. We always evaluate warmth before we evaluate competence. So, moving to section 1, aligning warmth, which is all about presence and trust. Knowing that people evaluate our warmth before they even care about our competence, this dimension focuses on establishing a presence that communicates psychological safety, approachability, and deep trust to your team. So how do we actually do this? You can cultivate warmth nonverbally from the inside out using a few key cues. First up, vocal tone. Rather than falsely amping up your volume to sound super enthusiastic, actually lower your pitch and your volume. Speak as if you're comforting a friend. It signals that you're leveling with your team and that you genuinely trust them. Second, genuine smiling. A fake smile only uses the mouth, and honestly, it just makes people uncomfortable. A genuine smile has to engage the muscles around the eyes, the crow's feet. Just remember to avoid smiling with raised eyebrows because that just telegraphs anxiety and over-eagerness. Finally, welcoming body language. Small signals, a slight head tilt, open hands, leaning inward, they safely convey that you're fully present. Conversely, crossed arms or cutting motions, they signal coldness and a complete lack of receptivity. All right, section 2, aligning strength or internal authority. Once you've established warmth, your strength is received as a welcome reassurance rather than a threat. And it's absolutely crucial to understand that projecting strength is not about dominance or aggression. It's about physical equilibrium, internal authority, and projecting a calm confidence. So how do we physically embody this strength? Well, first, posture. Reach your full height by straightening the S-curve of your spine. You don't need to puff out your chest. Just maximize your natural physical space. Second, utilize power poses before high-stakes situations. Adopting expansive postures for just 2 minutes literally alters your body chemistry. It raises your dominance hormone testosterone and lowers your stress hormone cortisol. Finally, movement and poise. Leaders should move deliberately to a spot and then just remain physically still. Twitching or fidgeting sends a visual signal of anxiety and a lack of control, whereas deliberate stillness demonstrates absolute calm and equilibrium. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Section 3, Discernment in Context, the corporate apology. Projecting warmth and strength isn't a one-size-fits-all formula. To illustrate this, we're going to look at the ultimate test of nonverbal alignment: corporate missteps and executive apologies. Researchers at UC Berkeley and the London Business School conducted this fascinating study. They took 29 real-world CEO apology videos, executives publicly apologizing for massive corporate failures. They analyzed these videos second by second with the sound off, using the facial action coding system to rigorously track the exact nonverbal expressions flitting across their faces. Were they smiling? Were they looking genuinely sad? Or were they just neutral? The results brilliantly illustrate why authentic resonance matters so much. Look, it's a natural human impulse to smile or laugh awkwardly when we're uncomfortable, right? But the researchers found a surprising outcome. Leaders who smiled or remained neutral during their apologies were trusted less, and their company's stock prices actually dropped. People perceived them as completely insincere. On the flip side, leaders who aligned their internal state with the reality of the situation and showed genuine sadness, they actually built long-term investor confidence, and their stock prices rose post-apology. The core takeaway here is that responsibility requires the right emotional resonance. You literally cannot just slap a warm smile onto a disastrous situation and expect people to feel comfortable. Context matters deeply. True leadership presence means having the emotional intelligence to align your facial expressions and your nonverbal cues with the actual gravity of the message you're delivering. You have to be honest, and your body language has to reflect that honesty. Which brings us to a critical crossroads. I really want you to ask yourself, are your nonverbal signals reflecting true internal authority, or are they just a performance? Are you trying to manage your cues from the outside in, or are you genuinely connecting with your message from the inside out? Let's shift our mindset away from leadership as a theatrical performance and toward leadership as a profound, authentic presence. I'm going to pause here. Let's take just a brief moment to breathe and reflect on these concepts. Okay, gently bringing us back. Taking the time to understand your own physical and emotional energy is what allows you to master your signature leadership voice. Noticing your default patterns is the very first step. Do you tend to lose your deliberate stillness and start fidgeting? Do you default to an overly forceful voice, or do you kind of shrink back when challenged? Understanding these patterns is what allows you to project that stable, balanced presence we all look for in great leaders. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this valuable, please subscribe and join our community dialogue. But before you head into your work week, I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you face a high-pressure challenge, ask yourself, are your team members catching your calm, or are they catching your concealed panic? Remember to stand tall, stay grounded, and lead from the inside out.